All right, Cardinal family, I want to tell you about the best part of my week and then how it pertains to our instruction and a few things I learned and realized in this process. Here was the best part of my week. Mrs. Brown over at the elementary invited me to come over and talk to second graders about poetry. And I know I have mentioned this before. Poetry is a big deal for me. I love poetry. It's a constant in my life. So, yeah, I was stoked about that opportunity. Also means I need to get up and I need to teach. So I had an absolute blast in doing so. I read a poem to them that was an ode to cheeseburgers, which I think went over well with second graders. And then in each class I attended, we wrote a class poem about this. You might have a name for it. Some second graders had some different names. And then we all performed our poem that we wrote together, and it was amazing. I had so much fun. Now, I'm going to let you know in this process, there's some things I did that I think everybody should do. And there's some things I did, it's like, boy, can't do that all day. So I tried really hard to model some of the things that I talk about with observable engagement. We did a lot of think, pair, share. We did a lot of call and response. I really wanted the students engaged in the creation of poetry in this process. Now, that being said, I really tried to bring the energy that day too, because I know part of what Mrs. Brown was hoping is that I could get the kids excited about poetry. And so I totally came in there as a hype man. And I'm going to let you know, Cardinal Instructional family, I really think I crushed it for about 15 minutes. It was 15 minutes that was gold. I am not a basketball player, but if I was a basketball player, I would be the guy that came off the bench and hit like a double-double in a hurry and then sat back down and said, starters, you got the rest of this. So, yeah, it was pretty hot for about 15 minutes. I was on fire. I could not do that all day. Forget about it. That level of energy is not sustainable for me all day long. I know that there have been times when I have sort of. I used to, way back in the day, do professional development training in the realm of classroom management. And when I do those sessions, it was in a hotel ballroom with 300 to 400 teachers in the summer for 5 hours. So I really relied on my teaching chops hard when I did that too. I really tried to turn up the level of observable engagement for those teachers, but there's also was an element of that in the summer that people wanted to be entertained. So I really tried to be entertaining. And I would get done with those 5 hour trainings and I would go back to my hotel room and I would sleep for like 12 hours. I would just absolutely crash because it was so exhausting. I really think that we need to continue to focus on that idea of observable engagement. And the more we ask our students to do, the less high energy we need to be. Now, I know that was kind of my rule for that day, that I needed to come in on Tuesday and be high energy and get those students to think that poetry was cool. But that continued work doesn't need to be at that level of energy. I think I've mentioned him before, but there was a social science methods professor that I learned from once that always used to say, I cannot win the battle for entertainment. If I am trying to win the battle for entertainment, I'm competing with the likes of MTV and Disney, and I do not have the budget, staff, or talent that they do, but I can win the battle for engagement. So the more engaged our students are, the better it is. The more we can see that engagement, the more we guarantee that it's happening. And the more engaged they are, the less falls on us for the workload to be entertaining, to be high energy. So, yeah, I was totally that high energy guy. And I think that's what those 3 15-minute sessions needed. I would never expect any teacher to maintain that level of energy in it all day long. I think there's maybe a time in my life when I tried and I could do it. And at nearly 48, those days are long gone. So keep up that work on observable engagement. Keep those students engaging and communicating with each other. Keep on having them display what they are doing, whether they are writing or speaking or engaged in physical movement in some capacity. And don't take all that weight, that whole load of bringing the class along with your own energy. Don't put that all on you. All right? I think that's all I have, except Mrs. Brown, all the other second grade teachers over there, thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you so much for hosting me. Thank you so much for letting me hang with your second grade students. It's truly the best part of my week. Loved it. All right, that's all I have, except you guys have a great Easter weekend, and we will see you back here after the break.